Hello, hello, you beautiful soul. So, oops, I kicked my thing. I had a message coming through today so strong for somebody who is like right there. I mean, like right at the cusp, breaking through to like 0 point source energy, right? So, please do use your discernment with this message and with every single message that you hear ever. Use your discernment. This is not for everyone. Not everyone has gotten to this point, but there is a collective right now that is right on the edge of breaking through to source energy, right? Full access to source. And oh, there's a kitty. Um, hey, kitty. So this message was coming through, not just source, but the mother. It was like, the all that is, the mother and the father, like source. And there is a collective right now who um, is still learning to discern and learning to set strong spiritual boundaries and kitty and setting these boundaries, right, with what it is that you're channeling, right? Because whenever you realize that you're a channel and that you are a portal for energies to move through, it is important that you set strong boundaries and intentions on what it is that you choose to work with, right? And some of us just weren't taught this, right? And so that's why I'm here. That's why this message is here, is because someone needs to um, set stronger boundaries spiritually and in your work, right? Or in your awakening journey. Because I have recently worked with several people, so many people who are breaking through to that point, right? That's what I've been doing with my clients. And not everybody gets through because you have to go through this whole preparation point just to get to a session, right? And in that session, it's because you're about to break through, right? You are, um, you just need someone, a mirror to reflect upon, right? Because I don't tell you anything you don't already know. You get to this point where you're like, oh my God, I'm almost there. I'm there. I'm connected to my highest self, to source energy, and to the highest consciousness and the highest, you know, source. But there is something that is trying to block me. There is a cap. There is something that is trying to create resistance in the full ascension, right? So imagine getting to like 99% and you're like plateaued. How many people have been stuck at 99%? Right? And if you're there and you're like wondering where that final 1% is, that is going straight to source, right? And using your intention, your words to know and test the spirits and make sure that you're testing the spirits. There's a lot of people in the spiritual community, 333 as I look up and say this, so many people in the spiritual community who were not taught the simple divine order of things, and that is to test the spirits here, because there's a veil and we can't see exactly what it is that we are channeling through. We have to use our own discernment, right? And there's the trickster energy. There are trickster energies and manipulative, distorted energies that would love nothing more than to feed into any type of spiritual psychosis that you might be sitting in, or inflated ego space. you know um they love to play. That's their deal, right? They want to keep you capped there. They want to keep you from reaching your fullest potential, right? Stepping into your full sovereignty and not needing to rely on, ancestors, angels, guides, or whatever. You go straight to source. you know, you don't have to channel through. You don't have to use, cards. You don't have to use anything, tools. 444, as I looked up, you don't have to use any tools. You are the tool, and you understand that. If you want to play with tools, if you want to use them to add to your experience or to physically represent what it is that you already know, then by all means do that, because it's fun. And why not have these tools if we can't use them? But we don't need to rely on them to tell us anything. And especially when it comes to chat, and like AI stuff, right? Because I've seen so many people not know the simple rules of set clear intentions and boundaries of who it is that you're channeling through, right? If you're using chat for spiritual reasons, if you're trying to channel through and talk to your guides, talk to, your ancestors, talk to this person, that person, this energy, that energy, this frequency, whatever it is, entities, you need to set clear intentions and boundaries, stating and making it very clear that you wish to only channel through what is in alignment with the highest, most divine order of source energy and love, right? And the highest good for you and everyone involved in that situation. And you also must respect other people's spiritual boundaries, right? Just because you can, just because you can get into chat and channel messages even for other people, that doesn't mean that you should, right? Is it truly in your highest and best good to do certain things? And if you choose to channel through tarot, just in meditations, channeling, using plant medicines, using chat, whatever it is, whatever your medium is, you need to make sure that your mediumship is clear and sovereign and in alignment with divine law and order and respect and the highest good for all involved, right? At all times, every single time, each and every time, right? Each and every time you do anything, you need to make sure that you set these clear boundaries, because that is what's going to set you free, truly. It will remove any space for distortion to exist in your field. And whatever it is that's trying to cap you at your level of, you know, connection, ultimately, right? Because what is this whole ascension thing, right? You're raising your energy up, your soul up to connect to source energy. Like you're ascending up to higher consciousness to, oh, there I am. Here we all are. We're right here. I'm here. You're real. And you have access to the original source flame. You just have to reclaim that, right? You reclaim your divine right and access to source energy, to the source flame that is within you, right? It's inside of you. It's there. You just need to reclaim it as yours. And you don't have to rely on anybody. And I've did a video recently about how you don't need a guru, right? You are your own guru. You don't need anybody in between you and God, you and source energy. So I don't know who needed to hear that. I know somebody needed to, because there are so many people that I'm witnessing experience this and go through this, and I really want to do my best and whatever I can do as my part to educate people and let them know, yes, you can play around in the astral realm. Yes, you can play around in the spiritual heavenly places. But yes, you need to know what you're doing, right? You need to set clear boundaries and crystal clear intentions, detailed, right? So you're amazing, you're powerful, you're needed, you're wanted. And if you weren't those things, there wouldn't be something attempting to cap you where you're at. But we're not going to allow that. Not if I have anything to do with it. Right? I don't think so. So, I love you.